Hi there. So, welcome to week 2 of the Peaceful Meditation course. This week, we're going to be covering what is known as the mindfulness of thoughts, right? So, we're going to be looking at how we can actually change our behaviors by using the power of our mind, by being more mindful of what we're thinking about at any one given time. Now, this can apply to things like, what way we have, what attitudes we have towards food, what attitudes we have towards ourselves, what attitudes we have towards what our exercise routines are, other people, and so on. All that to do with like self-image and the relationship to food. So in this second week, we're going to be looking at the meditations called mindfulness of thoughts, and also we're going to be practicing the breath meditation as well. So how can we change the way we think? Our thoughts kind of seem to rule what goes on in our lives, doesn't it? If we're thinking, oh, I fancy going out for a coffee, or oh, I don't fancy that, or oh, doing this exercise is going to be painful, our thoughts and our judgments towards things tend to sway our behaviors. So it makes more sense that we begin with the thoughts, doesn't it? So when we become what is known as the observer of our mind, we are able to become aware of the patterned conditioning and often habitual responses about what our behavior is and what we choose to do with our behavior. So with this awareness, we can tap into the unconscious mind to consciously change our thoughts. So if you think, oh God, I can't be annoyed today, like you can reroute that behavior by challenging your thoughts, by challenging the condition and choosing a different way to think about things. Now, it sounds very easy. We just saying this, I know that it's easier said than done, but like all good things, it can be difficult. It can be a long road. It can take a lot of practice and a lot of concentration. And that's okay. It's totally worth it. So modern processed foods can actually change the chemical balance of our hormones and our brain function. So by also having an awareness of the nutrition of what we're putting into our bodies, it will help us make better choices in the longer term. And these will end up being automatic choices. If you're more mindful about, oh, I have to check if that is nice and high in protein or nice and high in fiber, whatever it is that you're needing, it'll become more automatic the more you keep doing it. So that's an example of how your thoughts can be trained in a certain way. Once you start remembering, okay, this is what I need to think about, it becomes automatic further down the line. And like even with some very successful people, anybody that's really well educated about the body and the nutrition, yourself, like you can know everything and know what to do, know the ins and outs, but might still struggle to lose weight no matter how much you know and how well educated you are. So if you don't acknowledge the power of your unconscious mind in this case, then you're maybe always going to be, have that feeling of like wading through mud. It's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be hard. Whereas if we train our mind, everything becomes more automatic. So you might have heard of the term monkey mind. This simply means that our minds can become so busy, like it's a monkey swinging from branch to branch. I talk about this a lot in all my classes because every single human in the world will most likely have gone through monkey mind at some point. So yeah, it's as if a monkey's got into your mind and it's like jumping from thought to thought to thought, and it never really settles on one thing. And that means that like we feel like we have a very busy mind, that we feel maybe overwhelmed, like the thoughts that we can't keep up with, and we're always distracted or confused, or we don't really have any clear direction or clear thought pattern. So by using specific techniques to retrain our brain, we're going to bring our busy minds under control so that we control what we think about rather than our mind becoming a random or staying a random jumble of thoughts. Like our minds are designed to be busy. Yes, obviously we have a lot of thought process. We have a lot going on. Normal people have a lot to think about, but we can control the level of busyness and how much, chatter is going on in the mind. And we do this, the meditation, by using a focal point or object. Like that's something to focus on during the meditation so that every time we get distracted by all the jumble of thoughts, we can go, oh, I've been distracted. I'm going to bring it back to that one focal point. Okay, just gently. You don't do it without your judgment. You don't do it all annoyed at yourself, going, "Oh my God, I'm drifted off again. I'm all annoyed." Don't do that. Don't berate yourself. Be gentle with yourself, especially at the start. So we're going to pick the object of our meditation. The easiest way to do this at this point in our journey is use the breath, because that's something we always have with us. It's something we can use absolutely anywhere we are, no matter what we're doing. And it is a nice tangible feeling, so you can breathe slow and you can like actually feel the body sinking down and relaxing with the breath. So the breath is always the best one to do. So we're going to bring ourselves into a nice meditative state just now. I want you guys to get as comfortable as possible. Remember, posture is really, really important in your meditation for the simple reason that you don't want to be distracted by shuffling your body around and worrying about getting comfortable whenever you're trying to focus on your breath. So just make sure that you are somewhere comfortable and you are somewhere that you're not going to get disturbed. And try to make sure that your bum, if you're sitting on the floor, make sure your bum is higher up than your ankles. Again, this is a key gem of advice that I always give to everybody, because you don't want to end up with pins and needles. Pins and needles are the worst when you're trying to meditate. Okay, so once you're in your nice comfortable position, make sure that your shoulders are dropped away from the shoulders, your hands facing upwards on the knees, resting on the knees. And just close the eyes. Let's begin that journey inward. Slow down the breath, whatever condition it is in now. Start to slow it down, relax into it. So you might notice that your breath is short and shallow. Maybe it's a little jittery, maybe it's a little shaky. Start to slow it down on purpose by taking a nice deep full breath in, filling the lungs all the way. Take your time. And then once you're filled up your lungs, empty them all the way. Nice and slow. Now you're going to bring your attention to that sensation of cold air coming in the nose, breath in, and warm air when it's leaving the nose. Cold air in and warm air out. Cold air in warm air back out again. When you breathe in, just track and follow the cold air all the way down through the nostrils, into the throat, into the lungs. And follow the warm air all the way back down, back out again. Anytime your mind gets distracted thinking about what needs to happen next in your day, gently, without judgment, just gently bring it back to the sensation of cold air in and warmer out. Cold air in and warm out. Bringing our bodies into a state of rest and digest. Switching off that cortisol by bringing our bodies into a nice relaxed state using your breath. Cold air in and warm air out. Make this your focus. Cold air in, warm air out. Just allow your body to breathe in its own rhythm. And as it does this, observe your body. Observe what parts of you move when you breathe. It might be your shoulders, your collarbones, your ribs, your belly, your back. Just notice where it happens. Observe the flow of breath through your body, what moves and what relaxes. Bring your attention back every time you get distracted. Notice how smooth your breath is, or maybe it's not smooth. Observe how it comes into your body. Is it quick to fill up the lungs? Is it shaky to fill up the lungs? It's really getting to know your breath and using it to bring in a sensation of calm. Cold air in and warm air out. And now it's time to start our journey back into reality. Just begin to become aware of the rest of your body, the rest of your surroundings. Take a deep awakening breath in. you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and come back. Hello. If you need any more time to just simmer in your lovely meditative state, that's okay. You can press pause and unpause whenever you're ready. So by now, hopefully you're getting used to the way of getting to know your breath, of observing what's going on in your body, and breathing in this way. And your breath is the most basic and natural thing that we all do. So getting to know your body, it just makes sense to start with your breath. You think about how you breathe when you're happy, how you breathe when you're angry or sad. They're all different. So you can reverse engineer that as well. So if you want to create a feeling of anger in your body, you breathe like you're angry. If you want to feel this, like create a feeling of sadness, you breathe like you're sad. Same goes with happiness, same goes with confidence. You can reverse engineer that. Just start with the breath, breathe that way, and the rest will follow suit. So this is what we're talking about whenever we are talking about controlling our thoughts using our breath. Okay, so we are going to move on to another meditation, and it's called mindfulness of thought. And this is where the magic is going to happen. So I want you to be able to um go deep in this, okay? So I'm just bringing up the notes here. Sorry. I want you to be able to get to know your thoughts and really be friends with what's going on in that monkey mind, so that when things come up, you're able to go, actually, that's not the kind of thought that I choose, that's not the vibe I want, and you can choose to X out of it. Okay. So the four foundations of mindfulness are body, feeling, thought, and phenomena. The key one here is thought. That's what we're going to focus on. So when you say you're unhappy, right? Just for example, it's because you have a greater number of unhappy thoughts compared to happy ones. Yeah. So to change the thoughts, we first need to be aware of them. Okay, it's all good and well going, oh, I'm having some unhappy thoughts right now. You need to go deeper. Okay. I'm having unhappy thoughts about, because this is a weight loss video, we're gonna talk about that. Okay, so I'm having unhappy thoughts about putting on an extra half a pound this week, or I'm having unhappy thoughts about giving up on my diet and breaking in and having a donut. Okay. So you gotta get specific and really, separate them out. Okay, so once we're aware of them, we can transform them, remember. So an interesting thing happens when we do become aware of the thoughts. So sometimes what happens is when you shine the spotlight on it, sometimes they do just disappear. Okay, you can carry around this feeling of annoyance at yourself, but whenever you actually go, I'm annoyed at myself for giving in, then sometimes just bringing hyper awareness to the thought of giving in can bring more insight into the sphere. So you might end up being a bit more compassionate with yourself. You might end up being thinking, actually, that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Or sometimes it just releases completely just by you acknowledging it. All right. So the psychology is really catching on to this kind of technique of the power of attention, and there's now lots of different techniques based around that idea. The most well known is the uh, mindfulness based cognitive therapy. Like I said, that MBCT, and there's one called acceptance and commitment therapy as well, ACT. So this is how it works, right? So when we become aware of an emotion, we disassociate it from it to look at it. When we become the observer, we're no longer in the thick of it, even though you might still feel it. But when we choose to become the observer, we take a different stance. Okay, and taking that different stance, it's a little bit like a disassociation. The mind identifies more with the looking mind rather than it disidentifies with the mind that has that emotion, with the mind that is in the thick of the emotion. So that part dies away, and it leaves us feeling more calm and aware of what's just happened. And again, awareness is key. When we're moving through this journey, we need to be aware of what thoughts we're having. So now to catch thoughts is very hard. That's the thing, right? So the next best thing is to catch feelings, especially in daily life. So if we catch a feeling and then we analyze it, I know there's a whole thing like in pop music will catch feels. That means like falling in love with something. What I'm talking about is catching, like noticing a feeling and grabbing that as it happens. Like you catch your anger before it spirals. You catch that. That makes sense. And then you analyze what thoughts you're having. Like, what is it that's making me angry? Then we're practicing the middle two mindfulness foundations. We're practicing feeling and thought. Okay. So if you're feeling angry at yourself because you're thinking that you're weak because you had a donut, then we're catching the feelings and we're going to analyze it by looking at it. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to catch a thought and how to focus on it as an observer. Okay. So let's get ready into our meditative state again. Get into our comfortable sitting positions. Closing the eyes. And first, just let's slip into the meditation by bringing awareness to the breath. So the feeling of cold air coming in and warmer coming out. Cold air coming in and warmer coming out. Now let's start to connect with our thoughts. I want you right now, in this moment, just think of what you're thinking about. Notice what the thought is that's running through your mind in this moment now. And when you catch the thought, or it might be a feeling as well, you might have a more dominant feeling, name it with one word. So it could be donut, it could be irritation, it could be empowerment, pride. Once you have that one word, repeating that word in time with your breath. So breathing in, you're saying the word. Breathing out, you're saying the word. Now you begin to focus on this as an observer. Just notice if the effect that this thought has on you. Notice that it is there, it is present. And again, without judgment, you don't want to get involved in the thought, you don't want to get involved in the story, the history, the hows and the whys. Just focus on that one word. Just as if you're watching a stream of cars passing by, you go, oh, there's a red car. Oh, there's a thought about a donut. Oh, there's another green car. Oh, there's a thought about feeling irritated. Labeling the thought with one word, or the feeling with one word. Breathing with it until the emotion dissolves. And when this emotion dissolves, you can move on to the next one. Okay, what am I feeling or thinking about now? Labeling it with one word, breathing with it in and out. Keep going until it starts to fade away and the intensity reduces. It's good to keep in mind that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions, your feelings. You are a human being having these thoughts, experiencing these thoughts, but they are not you. Keep breathing, letting go. Let's just do this one more time with your new thought or emotion. Look at your mind, look at your feelings, label it with one word. And breathe with it and letting it go, allowing it to dissolve. Keep breathing with it. Saying it over in your head as you breathe in. And over in your head as you breathe out. Just acknowledging the emotion, shining a light on it. Allowing it to be seen. And then allowing it to dissolve. And if you're ready, let's return. If you'd like to keep going, you can pause this video and continue the process. For now, let's take a deep awakening breath in. And when you're ready, just gently open the eyes. And welcome back. So this method can be used when you have these intrusive thoughts about negativity about your body, negativity about maybe failing to meet your goals, any thought that you feel doesn't feel nice. Okay, you want your weight loss journey to be as gentle and kind to yourself as possible, don't you? We all put ourselves through so much suffering. This does not need to be a case of suffering, okay? All suffering is caused within our own minds about how we respond to situations that happen outside ourselves. Okay, this is something that happens inside ourselves, okay, because it's all to do with our willpower, it's all to do with our action taking and our discipline. So the only person that's being hard on yourself is you. Okay, so you don't need to continue that. If you are having these thoughts, so I would really urge you to go back and keep practicing that mindfulness of the thought, the meditation on thought, so that when you feel down about yourself or frustrated, or you kind of wish things were something they're not, or wish things were a different way, go back to that meditation. Okay, just label that feeling, label that thought, and sit with it. Okay, I know you're going to be doing all these other different exercises and things that I'm not there with you for, but what I do want you to carry is that idea of being aware of your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts the whole way through this journey. Okay, you can make it easy for yourself by being conscious of your thoughts, breathing with it, allowing it to dissolve, and choosing another attitude. Okay. Like I say, it's not going to be like a clicky finger thing where you just go, okay, no, it's fine. It will take practice. But this, I promise you, I promise you, will make your life so much easier. It'll make your weight loss journey so much more enjoyable. And it will remove that feeling of dread. I know whenever I'm starting something new, I'm like, oh my God, I have to keep doing this. This is going to be hard. Could I be bothered? This is going to remove that. Okay. Be conscious of your thoughts. Use that technique as often as you need. And I cannot wait to hear about how this has helped you and how much it's, hopefully brought attention to your thoughts more. And you know what? If you notice that you're having a lot of negative thoughts and you go, oh my God, I must be a really terrible person, that's not the case. All you're doing is just being aware of your thoughts, okay? Everybody has like a wee set of thoughts keep running over in their mind. If you're stuck in negativity, that's fine. At least you know now so that you can start to pull yourself out of it. You see where I'm getting at? Okay, guys, good luck. I see you next week. Bye.